You know what I never noticed?
What did you never notice?
The roof of the Save's abandoned energy station kind of looks like a big top. It's like red and white striped. That might just be the texture reflecting the... Yeah, see what I mean?
No, it is. You're right.
That's interesting.
Yep.
I feel like you could buy some peanuts or a funnel cake there.
No, that'd be fun. So, Cotillion,
no
are you super excited?
there is.
No, there's oh no, it's the statue.
I mean, you could do damage to it maybe if you wanted. Not sure
I
you
don't
could actually
recommend
do
it.
that, but you could try. We call
you-
that extra hard mode because this is the hard one.
This
Like,
is
there are
literally
harder
the
enemies.
hardest part of the game.
Like, there are harder enemies later in the game, but this is the hardest by a lot because
We have to protect the lovely Leanne.
I'm genuinely impressed they found a way to include the escort mission in this engine. It doesn't play nice. It really
not.
doesn't play nice.
Yeah, I mean, why do games make escort missions? Like, is it like a challenge? You know what I mean? They're like,
assume
oh,
that
how
the-
can we fit a shitty escort mission into this game?
I mean, I don't think the majority of cases are that. That feels like a very specific approach to designing a thing. My assumption is that it's usually because of, like, some kind of, like, story reason. Like, that this character is important in some way that they want them to, like, appear in the game, but, like, they can't defend themselves because that's not their purpose. But, like, they want you to feel engaged in the survival of that character or something. I don't know, it's one of those things that it's like, there are times when, like, I get the impulse to add it into certain games, but that doesn't mean it's the right or good thing to do. Like, Super Lost.
I don't know, man. I don't think I've ever enjoyed... There's never a time where I was like, you know, that was a really cool escort mission.
I mean, in addition to that, I feel like there's a pretty flimsy premise involved here.
Oh yeah, oh super. Like, this doesn't feel motivated by a story or anything in my opinion.
It doesn't really. It's like not even a living thing. Like, here's the dumb part of this, right? Like, even if you're, for some reason, really invested in the safety of this statue getting to the end of this place, who in their right mind they're like, you know what? I don't have time to kill all the enemies and then push this thing to the end of the thing. I've got to rev up the engine and have it going while I'm killing everything. Consequences be damned. Like,
Yeah.
Like, what sense does that make? Like, if your plan is to kill everything anyway, kill it first and then move the delicate, weird, creepy statue.
Yeah. Cotillion, how much are you enjoying the targeting system on a scale of 1 to fucking hatred?
I'm just not doing so great here. Trying to learn how to play the game again. It's been a while.
What are you talking about? It's been the regular amount of time.
The actual
It's been a while
last time
since
we recorded an episode was what, like January 8th or something?
Yeah, it's been
But
like a month.
It's been quite a while since I personally have played as well.
Well,
That's true. That's true. It's been a while.
I'm just gonna do this.
Yes, indeed.
I mean,
but
really
hey,
the main
guys.
thing to relearn is just that targeting system, and the trick there is you can't learn it. It's nonsense.
Yeah, you're effed.
Thanks, statue.
Well
So good.
done. Well
I
done.
believe
You
Hey
should
Guys was called.
yeah. Guess what week it is. This is going up then, isn't it?
It should be. This should be
Yes.
like Thursday.
Well, whether or not it is,
Yeah.
we're gonna say that it's Strong Week. Yay! Oh wait, I didn't prepare.
How did you? You literally instigated. I genuinely feel like you do this on purpose.
There we go.
For some
You got
reason, I was
there.
really expecting you to bust out ham for that one. The app that Tek uses for the air horn that he likes also has like some guy just saying ham, 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 and it's like really weird and unsettling.
It's super great. There it is.
There it is.
Ham.
Ham.
Yeah, it's pretty quality. Highly recommend.
What's weird about that? I don't
What's
understand
weird
where
about
your
that
objection
is it
comes
sounds exactly like my dream said it would. So I find it terribly unsettling. Speaking of, I've been having like a tremendous amount of nightmares lately. Like a lot of nightmares. Like really specific nightmares.
Maybe the end of the world is coming. Remember that movie?
It could be. Deep Impact? No, wait, the other one.
No, that terrible movie that I edited that one time. That I dragged you to.
Oh, right. What the fuck
I'm
was
so
that
glad.
called?
I'm actually so glad that you came with me to that. That makes me.
No,
really
it was
happy
really
that
important for me to
you
go to
viewed
that, I feel like. What was that called, though? I genuinely don't fucking remember.
What was it
It
called?
wasn't anything that made sense, right? It was like some random nonsense.
Is that what it's called? Some random nonsense?
It might have been some random nonsense. But, like, there isn't... Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there literally a line of dialogue in that that effectively says, like, what if we're causing the end of the world with our minds?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, like... I don't know, that's somehow even dumber than the plot of the final season of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which is more or less that same concept, except with a card game.
Yeah, let me
again?
just describe this this movie for our viewers in case you hadn't heard about it. I may have mentioned it in a previous episode. Maybe the last time we played this game.
It could be, for all we know. It's been a while.
Something about the dark or escape from the something or in with dark dream.
Escape from the dark nonsense. Nailed it. Got it. There you go.
I don't remember. Voice in the dark. I think it was a voice in the dark, but I think that's wrong.
Voice in the dark? That doesn't quite sound familiar.
Yeah. Anyway, it was terrible. So I had just moved to LA. I had worked on like 2 films with this guy. He was a producer, director. You know, he was a character. A Scientologist, I would later discover, and then not a Scientologist after that, which is very interesting.
That's interesting. That is a less common occurrence.
Yeah, he was
in
like
Hollywood.
super not into them, but then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not a Scientologist anymore. Now I'm some other thing," and they're like way better. And I'm like, "Okay, great. One cult to another. Good times. Have fun." Anyway, so this movie was I'm almost positive it's a voice in the dark, which is pretty crazy because it means literally nothing. Basically, it was. You know,
People love literally nothing.
Every shitty short film you've ever seen at a film festival, and maybe you've never been to one, but there are so many of them.
You know, I don't think I actually have. No,
well,
I've been to like a really low rent version at our college where it was like student film festival, and that's not as good.
I mean, the thing is that like as a filmmaker, like I've seen a bunch of film festivals, but I've also been to a lot less than normal, just because I just like can't stand wasting my time on crappy stuff. Which you'd think I would like not say it and support all the artists, but like film festivals are really hit or miss, man. Really hit or miss.
Yeah,
like unless you're going to Cannes or what's it called, Sundance or whatever, like you're just not gonna have the time most of the time. Anyway,
yeah,
so
right.
it's a really common trope.
It's called A Voice in the Dark. I looked you up on IMDb and found it.
Aha! Aha! Oh god, my credit is still on there? Good time.
Yeah, assistant editor, go you.
Oh, I didn't even get fucking editor, I got assistant editor?
It's your assistant editor on this garbage
That's
boat.
bullshit. Alright, whatever.
There's a character in this movie called Beef? It's been too long.
Probably. Alright, so the plot of the movie... Well, first of all, the structure of the movie is more important than the plot, because it has no plot. But the structure of the movie is a very common, like, film festival trope where you meet a character, that character has a scene, and then that character meets another character, or their scene is together, and the second character goes off and has a new scene with a new character, and then that new character has a new scene, so on and so forth. So
it's
you
very
never
film festival, yeah.
Yeah, you never see the same character
You know what?
twice.
Actually, let me put this into perspective for an average American. It's like that episode of The Simpsons called like 32 Characters in Springfield or whatever, where you get like 2 minutes of like a bunch of side characters having their own adventures that aren't The Simpsons. It's like a
Yes.
fairly well-known episode. It's like that style.
I think there was a movie though that actually pulled this thing off once, like a well-known movie. I can't remember what it was.
I can't
but
think of it,
remember-
but it
oh,
probably exists.
Wait a minute, that used that weird, terrible trope that I hate, but it was actually a really good movie. Huh? Crazy. Anyway, so it's awful because you never get to like learn about a character. You never get to care about any of the characters because as soon as they're on screen, they're off it again, and you never see them again.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And you know what's especially good about that? I'm gonna read to you the synopsis from IMDb because I'm already here and I can't.
Please
not
do.
go.
Please do.
It's not good. It says, a voice in the dark follows the lives of a number of people in Los Angeles, California, of various ages and walks of life, on the eve of the end of the world. It is a harrowing look at the choices ordinary people make when all of the societal rules to which they have become accustomed are gone. That is definitely not the fucking movie I saw at that festival.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, the idea isn't shit, right? Like, the
No, it's
structure
not.
is shit, and the idea isn't shit.
Well, the structure undercuts the idea because,
Right.
like you say, you don't
Right.
get to follow a character, and so it doesn't matter what fucking choices they make because you don't see the consequences of anything. Everyone's just in and out, and then the movie ends really abruptly, as I recall.
Yeah, really abruptly. So, the basically, what happens in the movie is, like, everyone has a dream that the world is gonna end. Everyone in the world all has the same dream.
Isn't
Well,
that
not the
more
same
or
dream.
less the plot of Flash Forward, that failed ABC show?
Yes, which the professor loves, by the way.
Really?
we've had
I'm
this
pretty sure I
conversation.
specifically hate-watched that until it finally got canceled.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, everyone has a dream about the end of the world. It wasn't all the same dream, but it was everyone was like, oh, I had this crazy dream last night about how the world ended. And so basically each scene is some set of characters talking about the dream that they had that the world ended. That's the movie. And, there really isn't any action, nothing really happens. Like at one
No.
point, like a guy, like, I think he goes to commit suicide or something, and a cop interrupts him. The cop, of course, played by the director, producer, crazy person. So there was that. There was a stoner scene, which I think is hilarious because this person clearly just figured that, like, oh, if I'm writing a stoner scene, I can just write shitty dialogue and be like, oh, well, he's stoned, so it's shitty dialogue. It's supposed to be shitty. Which was, like, made it
I mean, I
even
feel like
worse.
a lot of people do that. Like, brief tangent. I feel like the category of, like, stoner comedy or stoner movie that for some reason exists is kind of an abomination. Not simply because I am personally against drugs for my own use, but because people have that weird expectation where it's like, get it, it's funny, because if you were stoned, you wouldn't think enough about it, and then it'd be fun.
Yeah. Yes, it wasn't great. Anyway, so that was that shitty movie that I edited. Edited is a strong word. It was
Assistant edited.
Yeah, it was edited by someone else.
Assistant to the regional manager tech.
And right, exactly. And it was shit. And the editor vanished, which I should have seen as a red flag. It was then passed off to me, and I was supposed to make it better. And so I had the, like, producer-director being like, oh my god, this movie is so good, it just needs, like, a couple tweaks. And the executive producer, basically a guy who owned a paper company who gave this guy money to make this movie, being like, this movie is
Wait,
shit.
is this actually The Office now?
Yeah,
I'm
right?
confused.
This guy was like, this movie is shit and you need to actually make it better. So that was rough. They even asked me to, like, do effects and, like, make people's eyes glow and put in smoke and shit. And I was like, dude, I'm an editor, not a visual effects artist. Like, that's a different job. I was also, like, 21, 22. Like, I was very young and not experienced. So the fact that they expected this kid to, like, do this stuff and get it done. And they paid me, like, a decent amount of money for the amount of work that I did, which at the time
That's
to me
pretty
was
odd.
like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my god, you're gonna pay me what to like, do, a small amount of work? That's amazing. Anyway. So that's the story of A Voice in the Dark. Don't see it. Or do. I don't even know how you would.
I
But if you
forgot
can get
this room existed, by the way. This room where you reach the end of the thing and you just shoot a barrel and everything dies.
Yeah, it was nice of them to do that. Because the statue took quite a beating in that
Yeah,
last room.
I was a little concerned about going to another room because I forgot that this one was like that, but, like, you did a good job. We're at, what, like, a third of its health or something? Like, it's pretty good.
It's a little bit more than a third. Yeah, you did a great job, Cotillion. Well done.
Thanks.
Have fun with...
I think, like, 6.5
This thing.
levels at the arena probably helped a little. I think that was a good call.
Yeah, it was probably a good call. Probably a good
Who's ready for Return of Caligula?
Oh, Caligula!
Get hyped, everyone. Caligula's
I missed him
back.
so much.
And this time he's got a giant
Leveled
wood
up.
chipper. A comically large wood chipper. Oh, right.
That's awesome.
This is the real problem here, isn't it? I
Yep.
forgot about this.
Yeah. You can do it.
Okay. Come on. There.
Who needs resonance points anyway?
Certainly not us.
There you go.
Just gonna shoot him apart.
His name is
Fact you
Blood
can,
Doll
like-
Flame, by the way.
It is. The fact that you can just, like, run and gun this thing to death pretty much in one hero action is pretty impressive as it's level 14.
Guns, guns, guns!
Uh-oh. I thought she was gonna, like, bump the wood chipper and have her
Yeah.
turn in.
Oh, it tried to do that.
I don't actually recall that happening before. I assume it's possible. Perfect.
Do
See how
it.
he's lined up this tiny triangle? It's exactly what he wanted.
MLG Pro!
I understand, obviously, you're going to,
you should just
you're going to
fucking
cross
do
the
it.
line again.
Yes.
Oh, no, there you go.
No, he's doing it. He's doing it.
Like, I believe in the tiny
Gauge
two-point
break.
triangle.
I mean, this is doing something.
Do you want some more Return of Caligula? Rate your
I wish it
enthusiasm for Return of Caligula on a scale of -1 to 1.
Well done, Cotillion. That first fucking try,
Seriously.
that was pro. That took you like 17, 18, let's call it 18 minutes to do that.
And I almost lost the statue.
You did it. That's all that fucking matters.
Yeah, like, who cares if the statue is, like, basically ruined? It's a crap statue to begin with. That's not the point.
Think about it. Just the two of them.
The real treasure was listening to Tek talk about that movie along the way.
I completely forgot about that movie, and it's so crazy to think about because it was so terrible. I am really fucking glad though that you came with me to the screening. Like, someone else needed to understand.
I remember, like, sort of, like, talking to some of those people at, like, the mingling portion beforehand,
Yeah.
and then feeling, like, intensely uncomfortable interacting with people afterwards, because I'm like, a bunch of you fucking worked on this shit, and I just watched it.
Yeah, right. It's almost like going to a party, and then all of a sudden, everyone at the party just suddenly, like, has awkward sex in front of you, and then the party just resumes again, and then you have to talk to them like nothing happened.
It's something like that, yeah. Or they show you, like, really, like, off-color artwork or something. They're like, oh, yes, now my impromptu art gallery, and it's just like Nazi artwork or something, and you're like, whoa, hey, what even, why does this exist?
Yeah, it's just like you like suddenly learn that you're at like a Nazi rally, and then everyone goes back to pretending like they aren't Nazis.
Yeah, and then everyone's just got,
What?
like, hors d'oeuvres or whatever, and you're like, wait, hang on, what was that second thing you said?
Zeke, what? What about the Fuhrer? I'm sorry.
Enormous and intimate
BFF.
at the same time.
That's what she said. She said it. Everyone was here for that. She said it.
She definitely said it.
I heard it.
I don't know how I'd react if that was, like, a thing that the proverbial she had said. Like,
You guys would have it a whole lot easier.
She just yelled BFF at you.
I was referring to the enormous and insignificant at the same
Worlds in
time.
which we live.
A real flower petal.
See the world through one pair of eyes and miss out on what everyone else sees.
I mean, I guess that's true. That's generally how life
Where
works.
do you think it came from?
Look, the world looks different through a saltine.
That's the
We've
important.
heard this from a reliable
Never
source.
forgetting the possibilities.
Vacheron?
I don't even think Tek was drunk at the
Ever been
time.
beyond this world?
He might have been.
Can't say I have.
But what about your...
Oh, look at all the quotes.
I get so many
Oh my god,
quotes.
so many quotes. It's literally just like 2 sets of quotations around the same individual word. That's off the rails.
Wait, you guys, I'm confused.
there
Yeah.
weren't any-
Were the quotes always there? Like, we had the subtitles on for the last playthrough.
I
of this game.
genuinely do not believe they were there before. I feel
So-
like
so-
even with the low res, I would have noticed them to some degree after playing like 4 times.
So they just added more quotes for some reason?
Hey, hold it!
Yeah, they had more like memory allocation or whatever.
Oh, I see. So more room for more quotes.
Heck yeah.
T-pose.
One of these days.
Fine, if you guys won't let me jump to my death, I'ma go home.
I wouldn't even be here if he hadn't left before he looked. Hey, wait up!
Why would they leave her behind? How is that the conclusion of that interaction?
It's a great question.
He's like, I'm mad at you, Zephyr. Let's take this elevator silently in anger and leave Leanne here like genuinely distraught.
I'm gonna fight my way out of this just because we may need the mannequin parts.
Oh, that's very fair.
Yeah, probably.
Or there may just be no one here.
There's
You guys have a
probably
problem?
greatly reduced number of things.
I have a very big problem.
You're
you
out
run
of wine
out of
and
wine?
or
Sake?
sake.
Wait, you're both talking at the same time. Drew, what did you say? I mean, Cotillion, what did you say?
Said you're out of wine and or sake.
I'm out of sake! Aw, you guys know me so well.
It was so clearly the answer that we were both saying it, and Heck had used so much of the sake that he was too drunk to distinguish 2 voices at the same time.
It's true. Super wasted. Actually, I can't remember the last time I got drunk, which is actually, I think, it's a good thing, in my opinion.
Oh, that's gonna be funny to people watching this week because you literally said that on Monday.
Yep.
Hashtag, like, seriously dating this episode, we very rarely record the same week something goes on.
Let's have a whole conversation exactly like we did in one of those bonus episodes.
Who wants to talk about Star Trek Discovery?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
A new
Season 2's
season
coming.
started. I think it started. My dad said that he and my mom watched some of it. They incorporated Spock, and all he would say was, "It would make you mad." And I'm like, "Yeah, it would make me mad. Fucking obviously." just the fact that there are commercials being like, "Ooh, a new chapter in Spock's life. He's angry now." I'm like, do you even understand what Spock is? Oh
That's
no,
literally
you don't,
not the
because
point
the
of
fucking
Spock.
Klingons, right?
I miss the days when the first movie came out, where everyone was like, "OMG, remember Star Trek and how much fun it was, and remember all these characters and all the like things that they actually cared about that we're like doing again." And then they were just like, "Yeah, I remember that. Cool. Let's do some other shit that makes no sense and like fucking ruin everything." And just
Let's
have lots
ride
of
some
special
like
effects.
motocross bikes around with holograms or something.
Yeah,
Star Trek
right.
movie got weird.
Yeah, yeah. That universe is completely dead, by the way. I don't know if anyone knows that or not, but hope
The
no one
Abrams
I
listens.
thought there were like still talks to like do
No,
one more.
Nope, it died. Those talks died. It's over. Which
I
makes
mean,
me
it probably
sad.
didn't need another one.
No, it didn't. It makes me sad though because it like fizzled.
Yeah,
Like it didn't.
It
didn't
wasn't
go
like
out
they
in a
were like
nice
they.
way.
Yeah, they didn't have like a dramatic conclusion to what they were doing with those characters or whatever. They just stopped
Right.
making them.
And most importantly,
Because like those movies weren't perfect, but I did enjoy them.
yeah,
They weren't even really Star Trek, to be fair.
yeah. So like the guy who played Chekhov died, quite notably in a freak parking brake accident.
Yeah.
And I just feel bad for his family, being like, oh, his legacy was like this one decent movie and a whole bunch of, and these two, this other shitty movie, and the franchise also just died, like unceremoniously. I don't know. It just doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
I mean, I know what you mean. I don't know that that would be like the family's biggest concern or anything, but I definitely see your point.
Yeah, I know. Just the whole thing just grosses me out. Anyway. Oh well.
It's not what you would pick.
Nope.
However, I would pick for them to stop spending money on things like Enterprise and Discovery and just burn it. Just burn it instead. Like, if you can't be bothered to do something good with it, then just destroy it. Don't make something bad.
Yeah. Truth. Truth. Hey, speaking of hashtag dating this episode, did you guys watch The Superb Owl yesterday?
I did. It was all anyone would talk about at work today. And all of the comments were roughly like, that was a waste of my time.
Wasn't it, though? Wasn't it fucking boring as F? I mean, I'm sure it was especially boring for people that, like, don't enjoy football at all, but woof, was it bad.
I don't particularly enjoy football, but I still feel like the two teams were playing at a level where even though they weren't scoring, there was some tension behind most of the plays.
Yeah, I mean, so...
I'll say this. I feel like it would be more boring of a game if, like, one of the teams was completely unable to score and the other team had, like, 100 points.
Yes,
Then,
so
like,
this
what's
happened.
going on?
This happened a number of years ago with... Shit, I cannot remember the teams. Fuck. I don't got it. Clearly I'm not a football person. Anyway, I'm sure someone can correct me in the comments. That's not true. No one in the comments that would watch our
No one
videos has
will
any
help
idea.
you.
Anyway, there was a game many years ago while I was still living in LA that we went to a like Super Bowl party for, where one of the teams just completely dominated. Like, it was like 49-3 or something ridiculous like that. And I was about to say, before you started saying it, it was more boring. Like, it was super exciting for the first half, maybe first quarter, and then it was like, all right, guys.
It was like so far out of range. It's like, can we all just go home now? Like, what?
Yeah, like we just stopped watching. Like, there was literally no way for the other team to win. They were way too far behind. And it was just stupid. So that was worse. At least, like, this one was like, okay, someone could win at any minute until it was the, like 2-minute mark of the game, and then it was like...
Yeah, until pretty close to the end, like, it was close enough that, like, a crazy play on either side could have, like, decided it.
Right. So, I mean, so this is an argument a lot of people have about soccer, or actual football, is that, like, the scoring...
I believe it's pronounced football.
Yeah, sorry, football. Like, actual scoring that happens is pretty low. And so, a lot of Americans are like, oh, that's why it's never going to succeed in America, because, like, you need scoring and excitement to happen. I will say that I probably prefer American football over football. For a couple of reasons, but, like, there's a bunch of reasons why I also think that soccer is a decent game, and, like, it's perfectly fine. But
the only reason I really watch football at all is because of some amount of social pressure. Like, almost exclusively just, I know it's what people are going to be talking about at work on Monday, so I feel like I need to know what stupid thing happened. For example, Adam Levine taking his shirt off. And I don't think I've ever heard so many women, like, disgusted by a man taking his shirt off. Asterisk, that wasn't me.
That makes me really happy, actually.
Yeah, I know. It was, because, like, it's, like, not even that, like, I feel like a rock performer, like, isn't justified in doing that, but, like, it's like, not his brand, and the situation didn't call for it, and, like, no one was in for it. Like, no one wanted that.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, to be clear though, I really barely saw it because I was by the time we got to the halftime, I was like, this game.
You were out of sake.
I was. No, actually, I was drinking wine the whole time, so it's different.
So you were out of wine because you drank all the wine.
I did not. I had almost completely unplugged and was mostly painting during the second half of the game. So I mostly missed the shirt off incident, which is probably for the best. Anyway, the game was unentertaining in a way that was like I agree that, you know, because anyone could have won at any moment, like, that's exciting. But the point I was trying to make about, like, soccer is, like, that's generally true for soccer, and why it like, is what makes soccer exciting most of the time.
But people don't like it.
Well, the problem is that it didn't really feel like the Rams' offense was doing anything in a way that...
No,
like,
it wasn't. That was the
Right.
real ruination of the game. It's like, while, like, technically anything could have happened, the Rams weren't playing in such a way that there was a realistic chance they ever could have won.
Exactly.
Even when their defense was doing some, like, real serious work against a real powerhouse team, there was no
Yeah.
chance they could win because they were never doing anything that would enable them to score.
Right. Exactly. So it wasn't super exciting because, like, they were like, oh, it's like, you know, still 3-3, like, nothing's fucking happening.
It's
But,
like
oh, by the
literally
way-
the standard metagame right now in Magic the Gathering, where there's
Oh,
like
is
that
it?
horrible control deck that like wins by like incidental milling by looping its own copies of like Teferi the Planeswalker and gaining infinite turns. And then like any other deck. And it's like, look, your deck doesn't do anything. Like, you're not winning the game. You're just trying to get me to concede because this is stupid beyond comprehension.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Unfortunately, the Rams are not as good as Teferi, who is overpowered.
If only they had Teferi on their team, they could have made some real progress.
I feel like Teferi versus the New England Patriots would be a really compelling Super Bowl.
Someone's got to end the dynasty. Alright, well, I can't believe we had such a long conversation about football on this Resonance of Fate Let's Play, but it happened, so what can we do?
Everyone has officially stopped watching now. It's
Yep.
good. We figured
Professor is not here, by the way.
How to... Oh, good. We figured out how to fill the week of content, which is to get everyone to stop watching on Thursday.
Yeah, right? So we don't have to do another episode. Good job, everybody. We did
Yeah,
it.
I'm proud of us.
Well done. Well done.
Cotillion, do you have anything to add as someone who I know didn't watch the Super Bowl and didn't see Tek's movie and thus has just been quietly trying to power through the most irritating mission in this game for a half hour?
Nope, I got nothing.
Really nothing about the Adventure Zone podcast or anything? You got like a
Oh
minute.
man, so good. Wait, no spoilers, because Cotillion supposedly finished the arc, and I am still halfway through the arc. So
Oh yeah,
the whole,
I'm
like-
so far ahead of Tek on that, it's ridiculous.
Okay, wait. Okay, so I have one question though. I have one question.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're now past the story that I'm in.
Yeah.
Is it still good?
So I'm not that much past it. After the mainline story ends, they kind of pad out some of the recorded live events that they've done, which are hilarious and amazing.
I'm sure.
And then I'm now on the very first episode of so what they do after that one is they're kind of doing some experimenting with different people playing as the dungeon master and different types
Yeah.
of stories and different systems. And I'm on the very first episode of the first mini arc that they're doing with that.
Okay.
So I can't really
DMing?
say if it's Clint, the dad.
Oh, interesting.
I have to say he's
Alright.
like my least favorite. I don't
Yeah.
know, I just think the sons are just hilarious and incredibly smart and versatile, and he just seems to play himself all the time,
Yeah.
which I guess is not like a bad thing. He's just completely different than the others.
Well, I mean, they play off each other nicely, and honestly, I think he creates some nice humor moments for them to respond to. But I'm interested to see him as the DM. I'm not sure how well that would work. Griffin is just so good. He's
Griffin is amazing.
so good at it. It's kind of ridiculous.
Is he as good as dogs are so good?
Oh.
This isn't worth getting.
The
Oh.
professor's been very intent on the point that dogs are so good.
Dogs are so good. I don't know if I can... Ooh. I'm gonna say no, but that's because dogs are so good. Like, it's really...
This doggy daycare that is, like, down the street from my office, and sometimes, like, the women of the office will go on a walk and go by it because it has an entire glass wall through which you can see all the dogs all fucking day.
Oh my god, do you not go with them?
Like, sometimes
Vasco
I do, but
doesn't
I also
care
am not
about
a huge
pets.
animal person.
No,
Also,
it's
like,
true.
I genuinely don't think most of the dogs there are particularly cute.
Oh, well, that's a huge fucking bummer.
Yeah.
Did we do it?
Yep, we sure did.
All right,
Should
now
we
question
jam
mark.
in the cutscene and finish this thing?
Yeah, how we want to do that? Do we want to do that and then be doing it with that?
Could you rephrase that in English?
What's that?
I cannot.
Oh, regrettable. Then the decision is up to Cotillion because I didn't understand that.
I think that we should not do the cutscene because it will just... It'll lead to yet another cutscene before we're able to save.
Okay. All right. Well,
I am
then
gonna
I think
check my mail,
that's
though.
I think
Hunter
that's
Rankle!
the
Yeah, look, we
penultimate
got-
Strong Week episode, or is it not? Are we doing through the weekend too?
I probably should have discussed that before being in the
Yeah.
episode.
All right. Well, this is some number of Strong Week episodes. I hope you're enjoying Strong Week. Please join us next time, where there definitely will be at least one more episode of Strong Week.
Dude, do you see that, like, shutter, like, flapping in the breeze on Sweet Home? Look at that detail.
Shutter
Oh,
flapping in the
yeah, I never
breeze.
noticed that.
Oh,
To the
it's
left
I
of the
mean,
door.
That-
I wouldn't even say flapping. It's like subtly rocking back and forth, like so subtly that the aliasing is like really intense.
You and your aliasing.
Oh,
Alright,
baby.
we're out of here.
Bye. He died.
That one's safe. You can't kill him. Look how
He's
safe
unsafe.
He is. No. Oh my god, how'd you do that?
With
Tek
my
is cheating,
mad-
you guys.
With my mad ups, I have done it.
No, that's such hacks.
Oh, not only did I get him when he was safe, I also got his hat.
See, this is how I know you're cheating.
Because I got the
There's
hat.
no way you could have gotten his hat.